You can fool the world. It may seem confident. You can say the right words. But there's a place where nothing can be hidden. What do you think when nobody is watching? That's where your destiny begins to be decided. Stay here, because if this way of thinking doesn't change, no external result truly changes anything. Nothing here teaches anything. Nothing explains too much. All installs identity. How to develop an aura of success, prosperity, and abundance through dominant thought. What you think when no one is watching. You've been led to believe that success begins with visible actions, with big decisions, with external movements. But that was never the beginning. That has always been a consequence. The true starting point is invisible, silent, and it happens when nobody is watching. What defines the course of your life is not what you say out loud. That's what you repeat internally when you don't need to maintain any image. When there is no audience, when there is no explanation. The dominant mindset is not positive thinking. It's not a nice thought. That is not a socially acceptable way of thinking. It's a recurring thought. Automatic thinking. The narrative that plays in the background while you live, that's the law. The world responds to the thought that you inhibits not what you're saying. There is a deeply mistaken common belief, the idea that thinking doesn't carry as much weight as acting. That thought is abstract, harmless, and fleeting. But the prevailing thought doesn't prevail. They're settling in. It shapes the emotional state. And the emotional state shapes the field around it. You're not living the life you want. You live what you think consistently enough for it to become normal. Observe honestly. When you are alone. When something goes wrong. When silence appears. What arises within you, not what you would like to happen. What truly emerges? Doubt, impatient, self-criticism, fear disguised as caution, silent hurry, or calm, neutral trust, stability. Dominant thought is the invisible training of your nervous system. It teaches the body how to react to life before life happens. If the dominant thought is one of threat, the body goes on alert. If there is a scarcity of food, the body contracts. If it's a matter of insufficiency, the body anticipates, explains, and justifies itself. And the world reads this with absolute precision. Before uttering a word, you've already sent a signal. Before any action is taken, the stage has already been set. Nothing thrives in a contradictory internal environment. Nothing can be sustained in an unstable emotional environment. It always works like this. Most people try to change outcomes without addressing the thinking that underpins those outcomes. They try to act differently while maintaining the same internal dialogue. They try to grow with the same silent narrative, and they get frustrated. Because dominant thought is the root. The action is just the branch. You don't need to monitor every thought. That would be exhausting. It's useless. You need to recognize which thought keeps coming back. The one that appears during the breaks, behind the scenes. In moments of no effort. This thought process is your identity in action. Not the identity you advertise. What do you inhibit? There is a silent law at work here. The thought that you accept without questioning becomes an emotional pattern. The emotional pattern transforms into presence, and presence transforms into destiny. This is inevitable. Dominant thought doesn't shout. He whispers. He doesn't put pressure on. He guides. That's why he goes unnoticed. And that is why he governs. When the dominant thought is one of haste, life accelerates without direction. When there is doubt, opportunities arrive incomplete. When it comes to fear, the body reacts before making the choice. But when the dominant thought is stable, when he is calm, when he is consistent, everything changes pace. Not all at once, not dramatically, but structurally. The body begins to relax where it was previously defending itself. The mind stops anticipating losses. Emotions stop fluctuating without real reason. And that creates something rare. An internal field that does not contradict itself. Prosperity recognizes this immediately. Because prosperity doesn't enter into confused fields. She approaches where there is emotional clarity. Clarity is not optimism. It is the absence of internal noise. Dominant thinking doesn't have to be grandiose. He needs to be genuine and stable. It's not about thinking, I can do anything. It's about not repeatedly thinking, something is going to go wrong. It's not about euphoria. It's about firm neutrality. Success doesn't come to those who force their thoughts. Who does he answer to? Inhabits thoughts that don't sabotage. There is a profound difference between stating something and silently believing in something. The body knows the difference. The world too. When you affirm something you don't believe, your body tenses up. When you believe silently, your body sustains it. And sustaining something is more powerful than trying to convince it. Dominant thought creates an internal tone. This tone permeates all decisions, for the pauses, through the choices you make without realizing it. You start saying yes less often out of fear. Fewer no's due to insecurity, less maybe due to confusion. Not because he decided rationally, but because internal thoughts stop generating noise, and that changes your attitude, your breath, his gaze. This changes how people react to you. Not because of charisma, but for the sake of consistency. Coherence is magnetic. The dominant thought is the silent agreement you make with life every day. He defines what is normal for you, and the world respects what you consider normal. If the dominant ideology accepts little, the world delivers little. If he tolerates disorder, the world responds with chaos. If he upholds stability, the world adjusts. This is not punishment, it's alignment. You don't need to fight against occasional negative thoughts. They appear. That's human nature. What matters is, do they remain? Do they repeat themselves? Do they become the main track? The dominant thought is the one that is not interrupted, the one you don't correct, the one you treat as a silent truth. And that's exactly where the reprogramming happens. Not forcefully, not with constant surveillance, but with make a conscious choice about what you allow to remain. When a recurring thought is not aligned with expansion, it needs to be replaced with another that is. Sustainable, not fanciful. Everything will be all right, but I can handle whatever comes my way. Not I am amazing, but I don't abandon myself internally. It's not success will come, but I maintain consistency even when nothing happens. This type of thinking calms the nervous system. And a calm nervous system is a sign of security. The world responds to security. People trust more. Opportunities are better organized. Decisions are less noisy. Not because you did something extraordinary, but why did you stop silently sabotaging? Dominant thought creates inevitability when it ceases to waver, when it doesn't depend on the mood of the day, when he doesn't surrender to the environment. You start to realize that you don't need to get excited to keep going. You don't need to motivate yourself to maintain good posture. No validation is needed to maintain identity. That's emotional maturity. And emotional maturity creates lasting prosperity. Most people waste energy trying to appear confident. You start be stable. Stable doesn't attract immediate attention, but it inspires profound respect. The dominant thought process is present in the details. What do you think when someone is late? When something doesn't respond? When the plan doesn't move? Do you experience anxiety, or does it remain whole? This moment defines everything, because that's where the dominant ideology reveals itself. And it is there that identity is consolidated. You don't need to control the world. You need to stabilize the way you interpret the world. When that happens, something falls into place. You don't react, you answer. You don't run. You support it. You don't beg. You choose. And this creates a clear aura. An aura that cannot be explained. An aura that doesn't compete. An aura that doesn't need proof. This is success at the right level. Not noisy, not anxious, not fragile, but inevitable. And now, something within you recognizes this. The body slows down. The mind is silent. Thought finds a new center. You don't need to monitor everything. You need to live better. Dominant thinking begins to change not through effort, but that's because you stopped feeding the old one. And the new becomes natural. That's the law. This is inevitable. This always works. You're not trying to be someone different. You are allowing the correct identity to stabilize. And when that happens, the world doesn't need convincing. He replies, no rush, no noise, without resistance. You support it, and everything that goes with that state. It's getting closer.